What's going on, guys? ChaseWins.com back for the second video of the day. Gonna give you some more free plays. Guys, if you haven't watched the first video, which you should have already if you're watching this one, but if you for some reason haven't, go back and watch the first one. It goes over a couple of things about the day one, first day of Christmas special, buy one, get one NCAA basketball seasons. Each basketball season usually costs $2,000 a piece, whether it be for me or Jerry. You can get either one you want for $4.99 and you get the other one absolutely free. So a $4,000 value, 2 full basketball season passes, and you only pay $500. That is the special for today. For day one of the 25 days of Christmas that we're doing, a different special and promo every day leading up to Christmas Day. So 25 days of it. And we went over last night, amazing 11-3 with the free plays, 2-0 on Twitter free plays. I gave you free plays yesterday on the video. Underdogs galore, Syracuse winning, Syracuse money line outright, Ohio State beating Duke just like I said they would, taking the points. You could have taken a money line, it would have won. 11-3 with everything. 2 top play winners yesterday, 8-1 with free plays in basketball yesterday. In college basketball with a top play on West Virginia, 4-1 in Underdogs yesterday. We went 3-1 in hockey overall with the top play winner on the Minnesota Wild on the puck line. We went under on a free play with the Bruins and the Red Wings. It was just a fantastic day. What a way to close out the month, 11-3. All the clients, if you played every play, they picked up over 10.5 units of pure profit. $100 players, per unit players made over $1,000. Our normal clients, they're all usually $1 per unit players, picking up over $10,000 in profit in a single day to close out what was a great month of November overall. Now we kick off December with a bang and close out this year as strong as we've ever closed, as strong as we have ever closed it a year out. I think 2021 is going to be special, the way that we close this year out. So again, go check out the other video because there are free plays on there that you are going to want to get. The earlier free plays are in that video. Stuff going at 7, 8 o'clock. This is going to be for some of the later stuff that I wanted to go over, and we're going to talk a little bit about my favorite tournament every college basketball season. It happens at the beginning of the season every year, and that's the ACC Big Ten Challenge. Now, years back, I didn't really care for this tournament, but that was also back when the Big Ten wasn't for shit. You would always have one good Big Ten team out there. I mean, again, Michigan State's one of those teams that at the beginning of the year, they're always something. Michigan will hang around every now and again. So you have that. And of course, Syracuse, used to be part of the Big East. So that was always a big thing. But, Big Ten years back, it just wasn't really shit in college basketball to get excited about. And overall, the ACC would just obliterate the Big Ten as a whole. So it was never interesting. Well, now that the Big Ten has really, over the past 5 years, solidified themselves as definitely one of the top 3 conferences. In my opinion, they are the number 2 overall conference in college basketball. And over the last 3 years, 2 of the last 3 years, I really think that they, overall, I think that they've been, for the season, the best overall conference in basketball when you look at success rates, so on and so forth. But again, don't let this fool you. All you guys that have been following me for a long period of time know that, I'm a Carolina guy alum. I am a diehard Tar Heel since birth. But again, there's no emotion, there's no fandom when it comes to this. This is a job, this is a business, and this is about profit. Now, when you look at Michigan versus UNC tonight, UNC's catching 3 points. Is Michigan the better team? Right now, yeah, they are. But it's not because they're more talented. North Carolina's more talented. They are better coached because Hubert Davis comes through, the Dean Smith, Roy Williams of the world. So they're you don't get any better guidance than that. And I do think that a lot of the reason that why Michigan might be better at this moment is because there's more experience on that team. Now, of course, you have Armando Bacot, things like that with North Carolina. You have your veterans, but you've got more veteran presence as a whole when it comes to a starting 5 with Michigan versus North Carolina. But what you have with North Carolina is you've got guys that hang around for at least 3 years. Most of the time they hang around for 4, unless you get the rare case of like a Cole Anthony or something like that, where, you know, they play for a year, they get a little experience under their belt, get their name out there a little bit more, where they can go high enough in the draft to make it worth leaving college. But tonight, what I think the difference maker is going to be, I think Hubert's just got these guys ready to play. Now, while they haven't covered the spread in all their games, as a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, they have, so far this season, they have not covered the spread more times than they have covered so far in the games they played. Hubert's got them ready to play, though. And while I think as far as a starting 5 goes, Michigan might be more talented, there's things that are going to give them a problem if Carolina really comes to play tonight. Number one, that's going to be the fact that the way that Carolina runs that Carolina zone, and they'll bring that those big men that they've got to have that wingspan out at the top of the key and on that 3-point line, and not allow Michigan to smoothly rotate that ball and take those open 3-point shots. Michigan struggles with that. So if Carolina does what they always do with that Carolina zone, that's going to, you know, put a hurting on Michigan in a really bad way when they want to try to take those outside shots, especially with Michigan, they love to take outside shots when they get a little bit of a lead to try to quickly extend that lead, so then they can rotate some of those other players in and it not hurt them. Because off the bench, Michigan doesn't have much of a presence. Now, the Juwan Howard's doing a great job. Don't get me wrong. I like him. I wasn't a fan of the Fab Five or anything, but he's doing a great job there, and I think it's only going to get better. But right now, he's getting ready to have to go retool a little bit. What he has right now and what he had last year is not going to be what he has in 2022. Next year, this time, he is going to be struggling mightily compared to the last 2 seasons, and it's probably going to take him a full season to truly recover and get back to where he is, because he's got to go get some of those new young guns that are coming in are going to be special. They're going to have to get a year under their belt before it shows. So I think the Carolina zone is going to give them a problem. And I think that if Carolina keeps it close and makes it really hard for them to do anything from outside, then I think that Michigan is going to end up giving up fast breaks, because they always do that. And then I think the turning point in this game is the fact that when you talk about players off the bench, there's more, I don't even know how I want to word this, but there's more impact players, we'll put it that way, for North Carolina as a whole team, you know, overall for the team, than there is Michigan. Meaning that while the starting 5, if you just compare those 5-on-5, Michigan has the upper hand. But then when you talk about 3 or 4 guys coming off of the bench for either side, especially with a dynamic duo of 2 players that North Carolina has that are freshmen and that are going to be some of the, truth be told, not only do I think they're future NBA stars, I think that both of those players, when they leave North Carolina, if they stay for at least 3 years, at least, I think they're both going to leave as the, you know, 2 of the top 10 players to ever play at that university. And North Carolina, that's saying a lot, considering that, you know, Michael Jordan, James Worthy, Tyler Hansborough. I mean, when it comes to college basketball, screw the NBA, there is no better than what comes out of that university. That dynamic duo, even as inexperienced freshmen, they're difference makers, they're playmakers, and going up against other middle tier or inexperienced players, they're the dynamic duo that's the difference maker in games being won or lost. You take that with what Michigan has to bring in off the bench, that gives a very big upper hand to North Carolina. So if that big upper hand then makes the game even, all it's going to take is a couple of fast breaks at the right time, drawing fouls where needed, and that Carolina zone to have the North Carolina Tar Heels not just cover this 3-point spread, but outright beat Michigan by 3, maybe even 4 points. Outright. And I'd be honest with you, depending on those fast breaks and fouls, it could be a lot more. But truth be told, if all that goes the way that I just said, I've got North Carolina as a 3 to 4 point favorite if it goes that way. So I am gladly taking the North Carolina Tar Heels tonight +3, and I think they beat Michigan outright if they do those things exactly. Another late one. This one, again, I don't like as much as North Carolina, but I think that it's overhyped. Number 23, Wisconsin, taking on unranked Georgia Tech, another ACC Big Ten Challenge game. Georgia Tech right now, they're catching 4. Money lines at $1.55. If you want to sprinkle a tiny bit of fun money on that plus 155, you can. But in this game, if you're going to play it, the 4 points are going to be valuable. I do think Georgia Tech can win this game outright. And I think the reason that I think that it can happen in the way that Georgia Tech needs it to happen, because they play really fast and loose. They don't play tight and inside, which Wisconsin can. But the problem with Wisconsin is they play sloppy defense. They allow fast breaks, and because of that, loose play and real fast play, Georgia Tech is, among the best in the country at not only capitalizing or not only creating those fast breaks or helping create them, but capitalizing on them and throwing it down when needed and not giving them up by stupid shots or, trying to be pretty on dunks where it ends up costing you that free bucket. So that, that's number one. And I think that Tech, as far as any team in the ACC goes, maybe outside of Florida State, I think Tech is the best at drawing fouls when teams get a little careless. So if Wisconsin lets that guard down and they start kind of playing, they don't tighten up as much as they normally do, arms kind of go out a little bit more, you'll see Tech go to the line more times than they should, because they will put themselves in a position to pick up fouls that normally wouldn't be there. When that happens, you go look at the free throw percentages from Georgia Tech. That's right there. That can be the difference maker in this game. I truly, truly believe that if everything, goes that way, that it would take Georgia Tech having an awful night from the free throw line and not capitalizing on fast breaks and playing fast and up-tempo. They would have to do both those things, which it's almost unheard of for a night to where they don't do at least one of them. For them not to put themselves in a position to keep this game very close or win it outright. So Georgia Tech plus 4, it's another one that I like. Between the two, I think I probably like North Carolina better at plus 3 than I do Georgia Tech plus 4. But Georgia Tech plus 4 is another one that I've definitely got money on. And then one that people probably are not going to like. I don't care. I like this game. 8:30 p.m. Providence plus 3 over Texas Tech. Texas Tech is 6-0. I think Providence is 5-1 or 6-1. This game is so overinflated and overhyped, and it's all an overreaction to a 6-0 record that is a fluke. It doesn't matter if it's 6-0. Texas Tech isn't shit. Go look at all the 6 games they played. Nebraska, Omaha. They played, Stetson maybe. They played Prairie View. They literally have not played a power conference school at all. So guess what? You go throw that to a Power 5 team or a power conference team, anybody in the Big 12, Kansas, Baylor, Kansas State, any Big 10 team, ACC team, any of those teams, you go out there and give them that as their first 6 games, guess what? They'd be 6-0 too. That 6-0 means nothing. Go look at who Providence has played. They have played competition out of their 6 or 7 games. 4 of those games have been against solid competition. They've beaten good teams. When it comes to being battle-tested, Providence is more than battle-tested, while Texas Tech hasn't even seen a glimmer of competition yet. That's one major advantage. They're giving 3 points, which is either a trap because it's Providence versus Texas Tech and it's the names of the two, or this right here may get a sports trader in Vegas, an odds maker, fired tomorrow morning. Because guess what? If you actually look stat for stat, Providence isn't the bigger team, but they are the more talented and experienced team. While I think Texas Tech may still end up being the better team overall come March, when everything comes down to it all and everything's decided and we move on to the tournament, with or without either of these teams, I think Texas Tech may be better. But right now, Providence is the better team. And it's not just speculation. It's been proven throughout the season thus far. And I think Providence should be the one laying 3, not catching 3. Texas Tech has not played anyone to this point. And if you look at not only who Texas Tech has played thus far, but who they've got throughout the first half of their regular season schedule, Providence is not only the fastest thus far, it's the fastest playing and ball-moving team that they will play through the first half of the season until they get deep into conference play until they start playing, you know, the Butlers of the world, which Butler isn't very fast. Kansas isn't overly fast, but guess what? Oklahoma's fast. Texas is fast. Till you start playing teams like that, Providence, speed-wise, will be your biggest challenge. I think tonight, it would be different if Texas Tech had played a couple of games leading into this against some real teams. But because they haven't, I think they're going to come out and they're going to get a little bit of a shock with Providence. While Providence is battle-tested and ready for a game like this, and to go out there and break a 6-0 streak that had it been competition they were playing, they wouldn't be any better than 500, sitting at 3-3, and Providence will probably be laying 3 or 4 in this game. So absolutely, give me Providence plus 3 over Texas Tech. I am going to take the 3 points and put them in my back pocket, but this is a game where if Providence doesn't cover this, if Providence doesn't win outright, then Texas Tech will not only win, but they will cover the spread. So the money line, I mean, obviously you can play it that way. I am going to take the points because the money line's not paying high enough, but I don't think it's going to matter. I think Providence either wins outright or they lose by 7+. But give me Providence with confidence, plus 3 over Texas Tech. There's 3 more free plays for you. Go back, check the other video out. We've got the one-on-one courses. We've got the 25 Days of Christmas recap from last night, everything you want. And there's also 2 free plays on that video. Love you guys. See you tomorrow.